kettles and good. Keep that too and let it play. Jaisacinandana Braja Janarana Jaisacinandana Braja Janarana Jaisacinandana Braja Janarana Jaisacinandana Braja Janarana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Srivasadi Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radhanath, Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gaura Hare, Jaya Gaura Hare. Tiger Haribo, Haribo, God Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Go Premanande. Jai Om Vishnupad, Paramasa Parivrajikacharya Stotra Sri Srimad. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON Founder Church Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. Bhakti Vedanta Purports Ki. Srila Vedavyasa Ki. Go Premanandi. All glories to the simul devotees. All glories to the simul devotees. All glories to simul devotees. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. Lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 11, text number 12. Swayambhuva Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaivam narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet nasta prayasya bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavat uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Text number 12. Satvam hare anudyatas. Satvam hare anudyatas. Tatpum sam api samata. Tatpum sam api samata. Kutam tu avadyam kritvan. Katam tu avadyam kritam. Anusikshan satam vratam. Anukshikshan satam vratam. Satvam hare anudyata. Tatpum sham api samataha. Katam tu anadyam kritavan. Anusikshan satam vratam. Satvam hare anudyata. Tatpum sham api samataha. Katam tu avadyam kritavan. Anusikshan satam vratam. Satvam hare anudyatas. Tatpum samapi sammataha. Katam tu avadyam kritavan. Anushikshan satam vratam. Satvamare anugyatas tatpumsam api sammataha katam tu avadyam kritavan anushikshan satam vratam. Satvamare anudyatas tatpumsam api sammataha katam tu avadyam kritavan anushikshan satam vratam. Nudyatas tatpumsam api sammataha avadyam kritavam anushiksham satam vratam. Satvamare anudyatas tatpumsam api sammataha katam tu avadyam kritavan anushikshan satam vratam. Sa, that person, tvam, you, Hare, by the Supreme Lord, Anyudyataha, being always remembered, Tat is, Pumsa, by the devotees, Api, also, Samata, esteemed, Katam, why, to, then, Avadhyam, abominable act, Kritavan, you have undertaken, Anushikshan, setting the example, Satam, of saintly persons, Vratam, a vow. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Because you are a pure devotee of the Lord is always thinking of you, and you're also recognized by all His confidential devotees. Your life is meant for exemplary behavior. I am therefore surprised. Why have you undertaken such an abominable task? Read responsibly. Because you are a pure devotee of the Lord is always thinking of you. And you're also recognized by all His confidential devotees. Your life is meant for exemplary behavior. I am therefore surprised. Why have you undertaken such an abominable task? Purport. Dhruva Maharaj was a pure devotee and was accustomed to always thinking of the Lord reciprocally. The Lord always thinks of those pure devotees who think of Him only, 24 hours a day. As a pure devotee does not know anything beyond the Lord, so the Lord does not know anything beyond His pure devotee. Swayambhuva Manu pointed out this fact to Dhruva Maharaj. Not only are you a pure devotee, but you are recognized by all pure devotees of the Lord. You should always act in such an exemplary way that others may learn from you. Under the circumstances, it is surprising that you have killed so many faultless yakshas. Om Jnana Timarindasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumalitam Jaina Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunath Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyahevacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Swayambhuva Manu is showing his surprise and astonishment. Swayambhuva Manu is also one of the 12 Mahajans of this universe. The Mahajana, great personalities who oversee the spiritual progress of the people in general. There's many 12 Mahajans altogether there. Swayambhuva Manu is one of them. So he's making this inquiry that you're a pure devotee. How is that you come under such? What makes somebody do such things? Abominables. The word abominable is there. Something that's very atrocious behavior. What will you consider most abominable? What would we consider most abominable? Killing a cow or a bull? Killing your guru? Is it? Or blaspheming a pure devotee? So these are considered abominable. And we see how the Lord, because the devotee is 10% surrendered to him in so many ways. And you'll be reading that 24 hours a day, the devotee, how is it that he comes under such acts of abomination? We see the Lord's partiality in so many instances. I was thinking this morning in the Bhagavatam, in the Mahabharata, when just prior to the war, he wanted to see Duryodhana, the leader of the Kauravas, and he wanted to see Arjun. First thing in the morning, he said, "You should come to see me." So, and he will decide what steps to take. So happened Duryodhana was first, but he came and stood behind the Lord while the Lord was resting. And he was thinking, "Oh, I'm first, I'm going to get something." And Arjun came a little later, and he came and stood at the foot of the Lord. So when the Lord opened his eyes, Jai Sri Sri Radharanath ki Jai. Giriraj Govardhan ki, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Gaur Hari ki, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So when the Lord opened his eyes, the first person he saw was Arjun. So we asked Arjun, "So Arjun, I saw you first. What should I do?" And Arjun said, "Lord, I want you. I want you." But Duryodhana was thinking, how is the Lord? I came first. How is the Lord partial to Arjuna. But later he became very happy when he heard that Krishna was going to give him his whole army, the Yadu army, and he became very excited about that. So we see an instance of partiality in the Lord. And in many, I was thinking of the churning of the milk ocean, when the demons and the asuras and the suras were engaged in trying to get the nectar from this that was churned from this ocean, and the Supreme Lord took the guise of a very beautiful, most attractive female, Moini Murti. So when the demons saw this, all their typical of demons, they were very lusting after her, and she was tantalizing them with this. She was carrying this nectar, and the way she was, the Bhagavatam described very graphically how she was swaying, and the demons' eyes were just following her, waiting. But she was teasing them like that, and she eventually gave the nectar to the demigods, for mortality like that. So here we see how the Lord is partial. I was looking at a verse in Bhagavad Gita, very interesting. There's 3 verses there, 29, 30, 31. I'm sure you may be familiar with these verses. Saboham sarva bhuteshu nama dvesho stina priha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mayiteteshu chapyaham. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend is in me, and I am also a friend in him. So the question may be asked that if the Lord is, is he saying, I envy no one, no, I'm partial to anyone, I am equal to all, then how is it that is some kind of discrimination, isn't it? That is discriminating. So Prabhupada, he makes a point. He says that's not discrimination. It is not. It is natural, he says. Any man in the material world may be very charitably disposed. Philanthropists may give millions and billions to some cause, worthy cause like that. But how much more will he give to his children? How much more will he dispose to his children? This is the analogy Prabhupada uses there of Krishna's partiality, that he uses this analogy of the wealthy man giving, a charitable man giving some contribution, but how much more will he give to his own children? Won't he be more disposed to them? Yes. Yes, he has a special interest in his own children. Yeah. The Lord claims that every living entity, in whatever form, is his son. And so he provides everyone with a generous supply of the necessities of life. He is just like a cloud, which pours rain all over, regardless of whether it falls on rock or land or water. But for his devotee, he gives special attention. He gives special attention. And yesterday, Prabhupada was quoting that verse. Yayatamam prapadyanti. He says, proportionate to the Lord, whoever surrenders proportionate to that way, the Lord gives himself to that degree. As you surrender, I reward you accordingly. Yes, so the Lord, he'll give specific attention to the devotees. And Srila Prabhupada says further in that purpose, he says, the relationship between the Lord and the devotee is personal. It is a personal, not something impersonal. It is personal. The fact that the Lord is partial to his devotees is a manifestation of the Lord's special mercy. Is a manifestation of his special mercy, as we will see in the next two verses of that same, in the sequence of verses. Apichet sudaracharo. The Lord is saying there, Bhajate mama nanya bhak sadhu reva samantavya samyak vyavasito isa. So it's very emphatically, Krishna is saying, sadhu reva samantavya. He says, even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly, because he is properly situated in his determination. So how is it that a pure devotee can come under some illusion? Because Prabhupada says in the purport that the material energy is so strong, so powerful, as he described in the 7th chapter. What is that verse? Daivisha gunamahi mama maya durachaya. Very, very difficult. But he says, for one who surrenders unto me, it's very easily, one can easily cross beyond it. So that surrender is not so easily said and done, isn't we? It's to surrender to Krishna, and we can experience that surrender is not so easy. So many obstacles, while we're under the modes of nature, the powerful influence of the material energy is always plaguing us. We're never free from it. It's always there. It's never there. I mean, it's always there, yes. It says Maya never takes a holiday. She's 24/7, 365, always waiting to pounce, isn't it, for one slip up. Therefore, Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada defines Krishna consciousness, that we're always conscious of Maya, that we don't get into Maya. Or Prabhupada will pray like that every day. To the deities of Prabhupada, of course, Prabhupada is we all regard him as a Mahabhagavat devotee of the Lord. But then he was praying, he says, I pray to the Lord that I don't fall down. So the devotees will ask him, what do you pray for, Prabhupada? Every morning you look at the deities, and what are you praying for? And he said, I pray that I don't fall down. Yeah, Prabhupada was, of course, being very modest in his... but to show the example, by exemplary behavior, that we have to pray to the deities, pray very hard, pray to the acharyas, very, very earnestly to our spiritual master, for that protection, for that ashraya. We're always coming on that umbrella, we're protected, and we so much fortunate that we have such wonderful sangha, and we have so many ways of taking to this, in so many ways. Prabhupada has fomented such wonderful ways for us to stay in Krishna consciousness. He's given us all the tools, the mechanism, everything is there in my books. The books are the basis of our culture, isn't it? Books are the basis. Preaching is the essence. Utility is the principle. Purity is the force. So these four we should abide by very strongly, vehemently, that we don't fall prey to the material energy. Yes. Yeah, sometimes it is, Prabhupada says, the devotee may succumb due to some weakness of the material energy. Like Dhruva, we were reading, while in this war, he was coming under so much, one person fighting with all these thousands of yakshas, isn't? And he described very graphically how they were, the thought is going to, even the demigods were fearing he's going to be killed. The way the yakshas were coming onto him. But he was so determined. As a Kshatriya, he was very, very determined, fighting very heroically, defending his brother, who was, of course, already killed, but avenging the death of his brother, Uttama. Yeah, he went through a lot. He went through a lot. He went through so much, like anguish and like Arjuna also in the battle of Kurukshetra. Although Krishna was with him, Arjuna sometimes came under so much danger, he's almost killed. That famous scene where the day he was almost knocked off his chariot, and he was on the floor, and Bhishma was approaching him with the wheel of the chariot. The famous picture. And the Lord, prior to that, took a vow that he will not get involved in the war. He will just take a menial position of riding the chariot, or like an envoy, diplomat. But when he saw his devotee, almost he had to take, my devotee never perishes. He was there to save Arjuna, right at the moment, and to fight with Bhishma. So the Lord sometimes breaks his promises. He's known to break his promises. So he's telling in that verse, he says, Arjuna, you declared boldly, my devotee never perishes. Why? Why is he saying Arjuna? Why is he not saying it himself? Because people say, no, they will say, you make promises and you have a tendency to break them. So he's telling Arjuna, you declared boldly, and you will etch it in stone, my devotee never perishes. Shipram bhavati dharmatma sachvat shantim nigachati kauntaya pratijanahi name bhakta panashati name bhakta panashati. My devotee never perishes. Name bhakta. So that is some consolation for us, solace, that as long as we stay in this devotional sentiment, and as long as we remain in that shelter, we'll always be protected. Irrespective of what we go through, there's always turmoil. This material world is always changing. So many experiences are there. This material world, as Krishna is saying, Dukkhalayam Shashvatam. He says from Ha Brahma Bhuvana Loka, from the highest planet to the lowest planet, from Brahma Loka down to the lowest Patala Loka. They all places of Dukkhalayam Shashvatam. They're temporary and they're miserable. So in so many ways he's trying to, tell us this material world is not a place for us. It's not. Don't get too comfortable. Don't make yourselves too comfortable. A comfort situation. Create some artificial kind of happiness to prolong your life or prolong your stay or your family. Make everything comfortable for them. No, in one, the Lord, the ugly side of material nature sometimes shows itself, isn't it? The tsunamis, the recently there was a big in Thailand. I think it was maybe a few years ago, and it was on just Christmas Boxing Day, the most, in the Christian calendar, meant to be the most auspicious day, isn't in the Christian calendar, the birth of Jesus Christ. And this big tsunami comes and just destroys everything. People were in a holiday mood, a lot of foreigners enjoying the sunshine and the wonderful view till the tsunami comes and just. So we see there's nothing in the material world. Is always there's turmoil. There's always never peace. The peace we want is never. We may go and think we will get happiness in another country. We will get free from all this corruption, whatever. But wherever you go in the material world, if you take these words of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, dukkhalayam shashvatam, it's miserable, temporary. It is temporary. So what's the recourse? We have to take the message of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam very seriously and engage in activities that will extricate us from this material suffering. Although external we may suffer, we have this body to contend with, we have family, isn't? But somehow our saving grace, what will cap it all is that we have this Krishna consciousness, the strength of this Krishna consciousness, like how it helped Dhruva to overcome all the obstacles and still was favored by the Lord. So this verse is very, very comforting to know that. But Prabhupada says, warning there, we should not take advantage of this verse and make all kinds of nonsense and think that Krishna will, he says it's low class, it's a low devotee. Prabhupada says would take that and use that as an excuse to do all kinds of abominable things and think like the seventh of the 10 offenses. What is that seventh offense? Committing sinful activity on the strength of chanting the holy name. So not even Krishna can help you there. Not even Krishna. Trying to mitigate our nonsense by chanting Hare Krishna and think we will nullify, neutralize. No. We cannot. Like performing some prayaschitta, isn't it? Some atonement. And Maharaj Pariksit very intelligently raised the question, what is the point of atonement if one cannot give up the desire for sin, to give up sinful activity? So the desire must be there to give up sinful activity. The desire must be there. All these superficial kinds of atonement will just be recurring, like the elephant bathing and the proper use and those going to confessing the sins and then going again and doing nonsense. So it's just a recurring. The desire must be given up. Anathas. The anathas must be rooted out. So one is favored by the Lord. We should all vie for that. Aim for that. For the favor of the Lord, that we can get His favor. Of course, it's a price to pay, isn't it? But it's a small price to pay, considering all the time we were in this material, lounging in this material world, suffering in the material world. What's one lifetime of some tapasya, some austerity? What is that? It's to free us from this cycle of birth and death, disease, old age, and material affection, isn't like that. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Is there any questions or comments?
Krishna Jai Prabhu.
Yes.
I still get very confused between the Lord's partiality and impartiality because, like, he says he's not partial, but then he is partial. Then it's very confusing to me. Is it really that he does favor the devotees, or it's just because we don't see the favor and mercy in, because obviously the Lord can punish people, but that's also still his mercy. How he would say, "I'll treat the demons." So is it because we just don't see it as mercy that it's impartial?
Yeah, the Lord as super soul is neutral. One of the features of that is, he's not like a judge. He's not whatever decision, he's not influenced. Somebody is giving a lot of money, is awarding a lot of money. Some is sending to be hanged or punishment. So he's not involved in all that. He's simply taking a role of arbitrator. So the spirits, the super soul is giving us free will. The Lord is giving us free will. We all have free will. And we also, by nature, we are marginal. Marginal means we can either accept or reject or act on the spiritual platform or act on the... Sometimes we're hovering between both, back and forth. Isn't misuse of free will. So the Lord gives everybody free will, but it's what they do with it. He says, if somebody uses that free will to use it, to cultivate Krishna, then the Lord is... But if somebody uses that free will, misuses it, then he goes to hell, and the Lord says he blesses him to go to hell. I'm trying to find that purport. I think it's in the 5th chapter. Anybody remembers that purport? Oh, it is it, yeah, okay. Desire is a subtle form of conditioning for the living entity. The Lord fulfills his desire as he deserves. Man proposes and God disposes. The individual is not therefore omnipotent in fulfilling his desires. The Lord, however, can fulfill all desires. And the Lord, being neutral to everyone, does not interfere with the desires of the minute independent living entities. However, when one desires Krishna, the Lord takes special care and encourages one to desire in such a way that one can attain to him and be eternally happy. The Vedic hymns therefore declare, Esha tu e eva sadhu karma kanyati kim yam ebyo lobeha unishmishate esha tu eva asadu karma karati yam ado. The Lord engaged the living entity in pious activities so that he may be elevated. The Lord engaged him in impious activities so that he may go to hell. This is from the Kausitaka Upanishad 3.8. Prabhupada quotes that. I'll complete that. The living entity is completely dependent on his distress and happiness. By the will of the Supreme Lord, he can go to heaven or hell, as a cloud is driven by the air. Therefore, the embodied soul, by his immemorial desire to avoid Krishna, causes his own bewilderment. Consequently, although he is constitutionally eternal, blissful, and cognizant, due to the littleness of his existence, he forgets his constitutional position of service to the Lord and is thus entrapped by nescience. And therefore, the spell of ignorance, the living entity claims that the Lord is responsible for his conditional existence. The Lord neither hates nor likes anyone, though he appears to. Hare Krishna. Swaruptamara Prabhu.
Yeah, about the partiality, Krishna, he creates the material world, but he takes the position of being aloof from it and the workings of it. He describes that in Bhagavad Gita. But when it comes to his devotees, even though he's aloof from what's going on in the material world, he does personally get involved, especially with his devotees. And the example, the story can be given of all the famous stories from Birbal and Akbar, if you'll know those two. So once Akbar, the Muslim king, was making a point that, why is it that you Hindu folks, you're always calling out for your Krishna and your Ram, you're always disturbing them, disturbing God, whereas we just, we pray to Allah, but we don't disturb him to come and intervene and this and that. And Birbal didn't answer, but he decided to create a situation that could explain it better to Akbar. And they arranged this big event in the palace, and part of the palace was a courtyard, and in the courtyard there was a water feature. And Birbal, the minister, he had arranged for the young prince, baby, a few years old, to be carried by the nanny very close to the water. And the king was top on his throne with all his soldiers and ministers and everybody. And accidentally, the nanny dropped the child into the water. It was very shallow, but she dropped the child. And the king jumped off his throne without thinking and dove into the water to save the child. He didn't wait for anyone else to do it. And then Birbal later questioned the Lord, questioned the king, but my dear king, you have so many soldiers, you have so many people. They could have easily, why did you have to come? He says, no, that's my child. I had to get involved directly. So like that, the Lord is partial to his devotees. Yes, he's aloof from the goings-on of the material world, like he declares in Bhagavad Gita, but when it comes to his devotees, he definitely gets involved directly. He doesn't leave it to material nature directly.
Thank you. Very nice. Is it okay? Rukmini? Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Srila Prabhupada's transcendental purpose ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.